Hi, everyone. My name is Ido Akinde. Everyone calls me ID. So we started a 10-part series of, I'd like to call them discussions, right? Just conversations about how to build a startup, right? Or rather, how to think about building a startup, a successful startup. And we define successful startup as a startup that is enduring, that endures beyond 5 years, and is fundable. If an enduring and fundable startup, in our context, is a successful startup. So we covered a couple of topics, just a couple of things to think about, right? Related to the broad area of customer validation in season 1. And welcome to, with this video, I'd like to welcome you to season 2, where we'll discuss problem validation. I've in my work with literally over 1,500 startups in 15 countries on 4 continents, I have come across a wide variety of ideas. I've heard, sometimes when I listen to some founders talk nowadays, I have to tell them, I'm not trying to be cocky, but there's a very high probability that I've heard some variant of what you're about to talk about, right? So I need you to really, really focus on the unique and competitive advantage, what you think you bring to the table that is unique. Digression. Back to the point. A lot of founders lack tools, if I may use that word tools very loosely, tools for filtering, for analyzing, for thinking about candidate problems that they could want to invest their time and energy into solving. So, for instance, it's not strange, and I used to be there, it's not strange to hear a founder say, I have 69 startup ideas jotted in my, noted in my jotter, or in my notebook, right? Whenever I go to church, I get an inspiration, or whenever I'm in the shower, I get an inspiration, right? That's okay. That's okay. But there are a couple of tricks for, number one, filtering when you have a lot of ideas and you don't really know exactly which direction to go. Okay, so there are a couple of tricks. Okay. Secondly, even when you have a couple of really, really juicy and attractive ideas, there are a couple of tricks as well, or a couple of techniques that you can use to prioritize these candidate ideas, right? So one of the things that you will learn to imbibe, right, as a way of life while building a startup is the concept of returns of ROI, return on investment. You always have to think about, if I spend 20 minutes of my time on X, on this, what is the return to me, to my company, to my life, to my family, right? And so when you have a range or a couple of ideas, right, a couple of problems to solve, but you don't know which of them to solve or to solve first, then it will be very, very useful to have some kind of framework that helps you at least estimate or quantify the degree of projected returns on investment for each of them, and then use that to create some kind of ranking or prioritized list. If you have that list, then maybe you can say, this is the juiciest one, I'm going to go for this, or this one has a certain combination of return on investment and, you know, other criteria that may be important to you. Maybe it's your field of expertise, or it's something that you feel, you know, has a low barrier to entry, or you have social capital in the field, you know, needed to make success in that kind of place, and so on and so forth. So, in a nutshell, in this season 2, we are going to be discussing a couple of tricks for elevating the way we think about problems and which of them that we should chase after, or we should solve or go after. Okay, so season 2 is all about problem validation. We're about 6 to 7 videos in here, 6 to 7 topics to discuss, you know, and then we should be good. Once again, like I always say, thank you for tolerating my hallucinations. My name is Idu Akin. Everybody calls me ID. See you on the next video. Bye.